Good afternoon and welcome from Lakeside, Chautauqua. It is a beautiful afternoon here and I am so joyful to join you today on our topic of how do we manage stress during this pandemic. I'm Alison Falls. I am a certified life coach in high performance coaching. I'm also certified in Myers-Briggs, which is a personality type assessment, as well as from Stress to Best, which focuses on how do you use personality type to manage stress. However, there are a lot of authorities out there, and I am just one voice, and I am here to share some of my personal observations and my experience with clients as we have managed through and found our way and coping with this global pandemic. So now, what is different about managing stress during a pandemic? Well, there are a couple of things that come to mind. First of all, everybody is affected throughout the United States and throughout the world. It is almost an epidemic, if you will, of emotional contagion that we're dealing with at the same time that we're dealing with a pandemic of viral contagion. The other thing that occurs to me is the depth, the extent to which stress is triggered by the events and coping with the order of magnitude of change. And I'll just pause and say and ask you to think, do you agree with that? I think there's a third factor, however, and I say this because I believe stress comes from as much inside as it does out there. So as I work with my own stress, as I work with clients, we're talking about stress is your reaction to what's out there. Stress is coming from in here. So one of the first things we say is be aware of when you're stressed out. You'll see it in your behavior. You'll see it in your physicality of fatigue. You'll see it in your anger. So be aware of stress. Don't judge it. Just be aware of it and say, gee, I know I'm stressed. And then you hit the pause button, right? We all know what that pause button is. Hit the pause button and pause for a second and breathe. And we'll talk more about breathing. And ask yourself in that moment, how would my best self respond? So what we're talking about in stress management is reacting when somebody hits our trigger, hitting the pause button, and stepping aside and asking ourselves, how would we like to respond? So a lot of what I'm going to be talking about today is really going to be very personal to you, and your awareness of when you're stressed is the very, very first step in the process. Now, that said, what's really so different about stress during a pandemic than everyday stress? Because we live in a 24/7 world with our smartphones and all this stuff going on. So what really is very different? I think the thing I would observe is what's really different is that this is a pattern interrupt. A pattern interrupt that says, hits you on the head, says, wait a minute, what's going on here? What is really going on here? I won't go into it at length, but if you read in my book, Be Happy Now, my pattern interrupt was landing at LaGuardia on a beautiful clear morning in September on 9/11. And I said, what am I doing with my life? And it created in me a sense of urgency. And that's what I hope we have, is a sense of urgency for us to figure out how we take control of our lives when so much is totally outside of our control, and in some ways the world seems out of control. So what am I going to say? I know that many of you have been to stress management seminars. I've been to quite a few. I've given quite a few. And before I did the presentation today, I consulted Dr. Googs. That's what I call Google. That's my Dr. Googs. What does Dr. Googs say about the top 5 strategies for managing stress? And you know what? There are a lot of lists out there by absolutely top-notch professionals, and they have a lot to teach us. We have a lot to learn from them. I mean, there are people like Deepak Chopra talking about the 7 good habits of aging well, of fighting stress, and he has a list of 7. So some of the 7 would be meditation, wide social support. Number 3 is emotional familiar support. Number 4 is take multivitamins. Number 5 is good sleep. 6 is lifelong curiosity. 7 is willingness to undertake new projects. And we understand that that's a great list. And there are other lists. There are lists of 7 things or 10 things or 17 things that you should consider, including exercise and breathing and eating well and slowing down and meditating, talking it out with people, going easy on yourself, letting go of what you can't control, eliminating stress triggers, spending time in nature, and prioritizing those who are most important to you. Those are great ideas, but it's a list. Some of us are list people, some of us are not list people. And ask yourself, even if you are a list person, are you really going to do every single one of those things on the list, or pick out 4 or 5? Are you really going to do everything on the list of what the professionals are suggesting? So I think the question still is, well, how? How am I? How are you? How are we going to deal with stress during this pandemic, which started so many months ago and, to most of our dismay, continues even as we speak, and we're not sure exactly when it will end? Let me share my answer. My answer is keep it super simple. I know a lot of us are familiar with the KISS formula, and most people say keep it simple, stupid. I'm kind of big on words. Words matter. So I don't like to use the word stupid because I'm not stupid. I don't think you're stupid. So my phrase for KISS is keep it super simple. And I have one idea for you to consider. And it's a packaged idea, but it's one idea. And that is to create a morning ritual. A morning ritual, 30 minutes. Can you carve out 30 minutes first thing in the morning? Can you consider getting up 15 or 30 minutes earlier to have a sacred time, a ritual, not a routine, a ritual that is sacred to you and how you are going to live that day? So I'm going to suggest a brain tattoo. That phrase comes from a mentor of mine, Robin Sharma, internationally famous professional development coach, well-known author. And the brain tattoo that I've created and melded with other people is how you start your day is how you live your days. And how you live your days is how you live your life. That's the brain tattoo. And that is why I believe how you start your day is so incredibly important, and that is my talk today. So I'm going to ask you to just relax. I'm going to go through the package of how I start my day. I'm going to invite you to not pick and choose, but to tailor it to what makes sense for you. We're going to have a slide at the end that summarizes all of this. So as I talk through what's the package of how do you start your day, I'm just going to ask you to sit back. Let's relax. Let's let our shoulders drop. Let's breathe. And let it be like a wave from Lake Erie or from the ocean. Let it just wash over you. And at the end, there'll be a summary slide, and it will all be there, and you can take a picture of it. Are you in? Because I am passionate about how I start my day. And I know that when I was on Wall Street, gosh, it's been 10 years ago, I got up at 4:30 in the morning. I turned on the coffee pot. I turned on CNBC. I looked outside, and gosh darn, if my Wall Street Journal wasn't outside my door in Manhattan at 4:30 in the morning, I was ticked. I did my reading. I listened to the news. I was on the phone to Asia, and I was on from 4:30. I was on the floor at 6:30, and I went until 8 o'clock that night. Now, that's not who I am today. That's not who I have been for a number of years. Because starting about 10 years ago, I really changed how I start my day. And since then, and particularly since I've done so much coaching on stress management and high performance coaching, I know from my personal experience and the personal experience of thousands of clients that when you start your day, that is the moment you take control of you. And you take control of who you are. And that is how you live your day. Well, do things happen? Yes. Do you get off track? Absolutely. But at least you have started your day grounded. And you have a feeling that when you get off track, you have a feeling you can come back to. How powerful is that? So it's all about, let me just give you 3 words. It's all about focus. Focus on the essentials of what is most important and impactful for stress management. And you're going to see that in this list. The second thing we're going to do is really understand how and why centering and grounding and starting your day from who you really are when you're at your best, rather than starting your day with, I got to do this. If you start your day calm and centered and grounded, knowing who you are when you're at your best, that is a different feeling. So this isn't so much about tasks. This is truly about feeling and controlling, taking control of your emotion. And the third thing is consistency. This is something, this morning ritual, 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes, right? You can do every day. Every day for the entire week, every day for the entire month, every day for the entire year, every day for the next several years. And when you do something every day, it's like learning to brush your teeth or ride a bike. When you have a morning ritual that you do, that focuses you and centers you, it becomes a habit. And that's what we're really going to talk about today. So, without further ado, this is how I start my day. And I'm going to talk through each of these 5 points. And I just invite you to sit back, think about them, think about how it feels to you. Are you open to them? What would you, and as you go on, what would you tweak? What would make a difference? What would be more impactful for you? So, I'm going to give you the 5, and then we're going to go through each one of them, and I'm going to explain the science about why these are important in your morning ritual. Number 1, takes 2 minutes. As you awake, as your feet first touch the ground from your bed, I want you to smile, and I want you to drink a full glass of water. Takes a minute, maybe 2 minutes. We'll go into the whys behind this. 2, 5 minutes. I want you to stretch. I want you to move your body. Doesn't have to be cardio, just has to be movement. Number 3, 10 minutes. I would like to suggest that you try a grounding or a centering meditation. And I'm going to share some meditation and some of my favorite meditation resources with you. Number 4 on my list is start a gratitude journal. And gratitude, at least 3 things that you are grateful for as you start the day. And then number 5, we get practical. Number 5, we're going to take 10 minutes and say, what is my intention for the day? How am I going to show up with energy or love or calm or whatever it is? And what are the 3 things I need to do today? And most importantly, what is the thing I absolutely have to do before the end of the day so that when I close out my book for the day, I will say, I got that done. Gosh, it was a really good day. So those are the 5 things. Smile, stretch, centering meditation, gratitude journal, and set your 3 priorities, not a list of 10 things for the day. So, if you're writing notes, that's great. We're going to have a slide at the end that's going to go through all of this. And I think most importantly, as I'd like to understand why, I'd like you to understand why it's so important to have these elements. And I come at it from a point of view as a coach, but before that I spent 25 years as an analyst. I always needed to know the why. I was a Wall Street securities analyst. Why? What about this? I asked the questions. And that's what I do in my coaching practice because I know I don't have the answers. You have the answers. So let's just take the first one. I'm saying number 1 is smile and drink a whole glass of water. What happens with a smile? Well, the research shows, and I am not a scientist, however, I read the research. And the research shows that when you smile, you release something called neuropeptides. And those neuropeptides fight stress. The other neurotransmitters get activated. So you're activating dopamine and your endorphins and your serotonin are all coming into play. First thing in the morning, smile. And guess what? If you're groggy, if you're not looking forward to the day, fake it. Fake that smile. your body doesn't know really a fake smile. And all that neural networks are going to come into play, and you're starting your day first thing when you wake up with a smile, and you're already getting your body energized to help you fight stress. That will lower your heart rate and also lower your blood pressure. The other piece of this is, I suggest at the same time drinking a full glass of water. Why is that? The reason is that science shows that we do need sleep and that we do perform better with sleep. And while they're not totally clear on exactly what happens, one of the things, according to Deepak Chopra, that they do know is that during sleep, the brain is releasing toxins. Okay? During sleep, your body is releasing toxins. So what do you want to do first thing in the morning? Drink a glass of water. And flush those toxins out. Great start to the day. 2 minutes, maybe, at most. The second thing, number 2, is, so now you've had your smile, you're feeling good, you've had your water, now you stretch. However you want to stretch. Maybe it's a yoga pose, maybe it's downward dog, maybe it is, I do Qigong a lot. Whatever you do that makes sense for you to move your body. You can march in place. Do this for 5 minutes because we have been asleep for hopefully 7 or 8 hours. So now we're getting our body going. Now we're telling all the cells, okay, wake up. Wake up throughout your whole body. Get that energy going. And that is the second piece. I'll also add on to it is that I think there's so much value in exercise and in regular exercise. However, what a lot of people may miss is that even just stretching every hour on the hour is moving your body, okay? And I don't think we were meant to sit behind a computer or sit in a chair or sit in a meeting for hours on end. And one of the things we teach in our energy lesson in high performance is every 60 to 90 minutes stretch, even if it's a simple stretch of stretching your arms, stretching your hands, right? Just whatever stretches make sense for you throughout the day, hour on the hour, you can stretch your body, and that will allow you to keep re-energizing yourself throughout the day. And there is truly science to that. Oh my gosh, I want to ask questions. What do you think? What are your questions? So we're just going to, I'm going to ask you at the very end, you will have my email and my website and my phone number, and I really hope that it will be a dialogue, and we will get into that. Number 3, this is one that is near and dear to my heart, and I have recommended 10 minutes, 10 minutes of meditation. Now, I think there are a lot of misconceptions about meditation. I certainly had them. Do you think that to meditate you have to sit on a pillow with your back erect and your legs crossed? From the teachers that I respect, the answer is get comfortable. If you want to sit on the floor, fine. If you want to sit in a chair, great. If you want to meditate in your bed, that works. The most important thing is to be comfortable. and to have a place where the meditation is a sacred spot for you, where you're not likely to be interrupted. Now, another expectation is, oh, I'm not good, or another thing people say, I'm not good at meditation, my mind wanders. Guess what? Everybody's mind wanders. Monks who have meditated for their entire life, their minds wander. I meditate for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, my mind wanders. I'm into a meditation on peace and I'm thinking, okay, what's on the grocery list that I need to buy for dinner tonight? Whoops, I need to come back. I need to come back to the meditation. And one of the reasons why when I started out using the 21-day free meditation series from Deepak Chopra and Oprah Winfrey is I enjoyed them talking you through. I enjoyed learning about what we were doing. And then I also enjoyed a short period of time, like 10 minutes, to meditate. So when you find that when you ask yourself about meditation, I'm just suggesting try it. There are so many different teachers out there. There are so many different voices. There are so many different approaches. Try it and find something. And maybe it's not a voice. Maybe it's just music, right? Just find what resonates with you. I use an app on my phone, and the app is Insight Timer, INSIGHT. Timer, T-I-M-E-R. Insight Timer has something like 54,000 different meditations to choose from. You can search on it by topic or by teacher. In some ways, it can be a little complicated because there's so much there. And I'm available, and I've talked so many people through how do you find something that resonates with you? How do you bookmark? How do you take courses? So let's not worry about the details. Let's, we can figure out the details. I just want to make you aware of there is an app on your phone that makes it easy to meditate anywhere, any time of the day. So the very first basic in meditation is breathing. So what I'm going to do is take us through a breathing exercise, and then I'm going to share with you some of my favorite and some suggestions on meditations you might want to check out on Insight Timer. One of the first basics is breathe in through the nose and then breathe out through the mouth. Now, if you are doing breathing where your shoulders are going up, nope, we want the stomach to go out. Okay, out and in. During the day, if you notice, you may find you have very shallow breathing. When people are stressed, they're hardly breathing at all. So what we're talking about in meditation is what's called deep diaphragmatic breathing. Anybody who's done yoga is very familiar with it. And you're breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And if you're really stressed, have some fun with it. Breathe in and go, let it go. Just let it go. Or you can just be a little less noticeable and breathe in through the mouth and out, breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. So let's try a few breathing exercises. And I think this helped explain what I mean by finding in a meditation that is centering and grounding, that helps you find the silence, that helps you go inside yourself to your very best self. So pause and let's just do it. Let us breathe in permission, and let us breathe out regret. Let us breathe in light, and let us let go of the darkness. Let us breathe in peace in our body, and let us let go of the turmoil that is out there. Let us breathe in a smile, and let go of that grimace. Let us breathe in abundance and let go of constriction. Let us breathe in calm and breathe out overwhelm. Let us breathe in compassion and let us breathe out anger. Let us breathe in healing to our body, to our family and friends, and let us breathe out disease. Let it go. Let us breathe in clarity, and let us breathe out confusion. Let us breathe in forgiveness, forgiveness of ourselves, and let us breathe out blame for ourselves and others. Let us breathe in love, and let us let go of anger. Let us breathe in love and let go of the pain. Let us breathe in love and breathe out love. That is a breathing exercise. It's a centering exercise, and almost all the meditations that I'll be sharing with you as recommendations are going to start you off with relaxation and breathing. Now, we could spend an entire hour on meditation, and we're not going to do that. I would just like to say Sarah Blondin, Blondin, you can search her on Insight Timer. She has 10, 12-minute meditations, making your life sacred, practicing gentle kindness, accepting change. She has over 300,000 followers worldwide, Sarah Blondin. David Gandelman, different voice, a little bit more quirky. He says, breathe in and hold it. And at some point, you're going to have to let it out or you're going to die. So he's a little bit quirky. He has a funny sense of humor. But David has a meditation called Grounded Morning, Grounded Silence, and Grounded Stillness. And he also has a meditation, Grounded Morning Gratitude. David G. is the former Chief Operating Officer of the Chopra Meditation Center. And he's now currently has his own meditation center. He's world famous, and he has meditations on morning practice, quieting the mind, the end of suffering, emotional freedom, and it's David G, Davidji. That's what he goes by. That's David G. There's another meditation by Stuart Kaplan. If you're looking for something a little bit different, he has one called the Embrace the Energy of the Eagle. And he has the spirit behind the eagle. He's got the eagle sounds. He brings you right into nature, and it's about energy and the eagle and the spirit. So I just wanted to give you a few examples of so many thousands of examples that are out there for you to take a look at. Number 4, I would really encourage you to create a gratitude journal. I think meditation and gratitude really complement each other. Gratitude helps bring out the joy. I started 10 years ago, and with a recommendation, and you'll see it in my book, Be Happy Now. I started out every morning asking myself, what 3 things could I be grateful for? And maybe they were people, maybe it was nature. It's just 3 things. Over time, and as I have grown, and as I have learned from other people, I've learned that when you write something in a journal, you imprint it on your neural networks. And we know from the science of neuroplasticity that we can change our neural networks. We can change a single-lane highway into a superhighway. It's our choice. It's what we choose to do day in and day out. And gratitude has just absolutely a huge payoff. And the reason I recommend that you journal it is because there is something, you can say it silently, you can say it out loud, and there is just something extra that when you have a journal and you write it down in the morning. So I brought along my 99-cent Walmart special. This is my gratitude journal. And every morning I write in it. Now, sometimes it's 3 gratitudes, sometimes it's 5. I sometimes take more time than I'm currently saying what you might want to do. It's just a start, but journal it. And it's amazing and so fulfilling when I go back through my journal to see the things that I talked about. Okay, we're up to number 5. And now we're starting to get ready for the day. Number 5 is set your intention, which is your energy for the day, and what are your top 3 priorities for this day? I know we've got a long list. Well, let's just be honest. You know, it's not whether you do everything on your list, because most times we can't do everything on your list. What are the 3 most important things that you need to do today? Think about them. This is all, okay? This 30 minutes is all before you've opened your phone and your email. Because what we call emails is other people's agenda. This 30 minutes is your sacred ritual. It is your time. It is your agenda. What are your top 3 priorities for the day? And who do you need to reach out to that you would like to help you? And who do you need to reach out to that hasn't gotten back to you? And most important is, what are you going to do for a disaster? Maybe that's not a great example, but what are you going to do before the end of the day that is going to make it a great day, so that you end the day by saying, I got that one thing done, and that was so important. Maybe it was surprising somebody. Maybe it was just as simple as making somebody else smile. But what's the one thing that you want to make sure that you do before this day is over, and that you'll know that it really was a wonderful day? So let us recap in summary. Let's go through the 5 parts of the package, because this is the morning ritual. And I think you'll see on the summary slide that is up on the screen now that it's 2 minutes. Number 1, smile, drink a glass of water. Number 2, 5 minutes, stretch and move your body. Number 3 is 10 minutes, a centering, grounding, quieting meditation that helps you affirm who you are and who you are when you're at your best. Number 4 is taking 5 minutes for a gratitude journal. And then number 5 is 10 minutes to set your intention and your 3 priorities for the day. That is a morning ritual. There is science behind every piece of this morning ritual that has to do with the science of de-stressifying, of centering, of focusing, of bringing out the joy in you and in your life, and getting you focused to start the day before you look at your phone, before you respond to other people's agenda. This is your time, and I call it a sacred ritual because it's not a routine. This is sacred to you. And the mantra is, the brain tattoo is, how I live my day, how I start my day, how I start my day is how I live my days. And how I live my days is how I live my life. Simple, right? Keep it simple. And in this pandemic, I think we need to come back to basics. We need to have something that is simple, that helps get us focused, that we really can do day in and day out. And it anchors us to feel good about ourselves and to feel good about what we're doing. Well, I am Alison Falls. I can't thank you enough for joining me today. And you can find me on the website, www.alisonlanzafalls.com. You can email me at allison@alisonlanzafalls.com, or my cell phone is 419-262-3717. And I wish you a beautiful evening. I encourage you to be open to creating your sacred ritual. And I challenge you to start it tomorrow morning. God bless.